Hello and welcome to AD4TV Radio Weekly Review, coming to you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Adirayo Senami. This is a review of the top stories this past week. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday participated in the China-Africa Summit on solidarity against COVID-19 via video conference. The Ministers of Health, Foreign Affairs and Finance joined the President at the Council chamber for the meeting. The summit was jointly proposed by China, South Africa, the rotating chair of the African Union, and Senegal, co-chair of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, members of the African Union, assembly heads of states and government, rotating chairs of major African sub-regional organizations, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, the Secretary General of the United Nations, and Director General of the World Health Organization were all in attendance of the summit. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso, on behalf of African countries, petitioned the United Nations Human Rights Council, the UNHCR, to deliberate on systemic racism, police brutality, and violence against peaceful protests. Racism and police brutality demonstrations have gained momentum across the world, which has led to the demolition of century-old statues and monuments of known slave owners. In response, the Church of England and the Bank of England on Thursday apologized for their historic ties with Britain's slave trade after a new database analysis by the University College London revealed the institution's connections with slavery. The bank followed it with an apology and a pledge not to display any images of former leaders who were involved, as slavery is an unacceptable part of English history. Other banking institutions have since followed suit with a payment to projects benefiting African, Asian, and minority ethnic communities in apology for past links with slavery. The body of 19-year-old Black Lives Matter activist Oluwatoyin Salau was found on the 14th of June in Florida, United States, 1 week after she went missing. Her body was found alongside that of 75-year-old Victoria Sims. Oluwatoyin was a prominent voice in the Black Lives Matter protest and had on the 6th of June recounted a sexual assault experience on Twitter, only to go missing a few hours after that. A suspect, Aaron Glee, has been arrested and charged with murder and kidnapping in a double homicide investigation. Kenya was on Thursday elected to the United Nations Security Council after defeating Djibouti in a runoff vote with 129 votes to Djibouti's 62, taking over the seat from South Africa, while Canada lost its bid to Ireland and Norway for the two Western Bloc seats. The terms of the new members will begin on the 1st of January 2021. We'll take a break now. We'll be back shortly.
Just when will all this madness stop? Just when will we think it enough and decide to halt? Just when will we stop to think, wake up, and realize that what we beat, batter, wrestle, rape, hate, maim, kill, and destroy is not just white or black, poor or rich, Muslim or Christian, young or old, boy or girl, woman or man, bound or free, but it's flesh and blood, hearts and souls, its feelings and emotions, dreams and aspirations, its destinies and hopes, expectations and ambitions, the could have, would have, and should have. It's people like us that we injure and tear apart, that we hurt, watch suffer, and bleed to death. Just when will this madness stop?
Welcome back. You're watching AD4TV Radio Weekly Review. The United Kingdom on Thursday said it found a low-cost anti-inflammatory drug called dexamethasone, which appears to reduce the risk of death in COVID-19 patients. Peter Horby, the professor of emerging infectious diseases in the Nuffield Department of Medicine and one of the chief investigators for the trial, said dexamethasone is the first drug that has shown to improve survival in COVID-19 patients. The World Health Organization, WHO, on Wednesday endorsed the drug, saying it is a breakthrough in the global race to discover a drug for treatment and prevention of COVID-19. Meanwhile, Nigeria and South Africa have since said they will commence clinical trials of dexamethasone on COVID-19 patients. The Nigeria Economic Sustainability Committee, led by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, advised President Muhammadu Buhari to suspend the National Youth Service Corps NYC orientation camp for 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The committee recommended that deployment for primary assignments can still go on despite the suspension, with the implementation of virtual convocation ceremonies and issuance of certificates in a bid to continue the progression of education. NYC had earlier submitted a proposal for the approval, which includes guidelines to reopen camps across the country, as the 2020 Batch A Stream 1 orientation course was suspended after a week as part of the measures to contain the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, announced on Friday that about 4.5 billion naira, equivalent of $11.6 million, has been released to 31 federal teaching hospitals and medical centers across the country for hazard and inducement allowances for the months of April and May, while the payment for June will soon be made. Minister of Health Osage Hanire has therefore called on the National Association of Resident Doctors to call off their strike and return to work, as a request for hazard allowance for April and May has been met. Similarly, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, this Saturday said more work still needs to be done to ensure that the celebrated polio-free status endorsed by the World Health Organization to Nigeria is maintained, so no child is ever paralyzed by the virus. The World Health Organization (WHO) had declared Nigeria free of wild polio on its official Twitter account this Friday, following the completion of documentation for the free status. Nigeria will hopefully get its certification of Africa Regional Certification Commission for the eradication of polio in August this year. And that's it on our weekly review. You can join the conversation on our website at www.AD4TVRADIO.com. Please follow us on our social media platforms at AD4TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at AD4TV Radio. Many thanks for watching. I am Adirayo Senami.